CD2. Unit 6. Listening Skills. Exercise 4.
One of the first things I did was to conduct a survey in my department and 2 overseas, one in China, the other in Russia. For this I enlisted the help of some members of staff and the international students in my department, who used their contacts overseas to provide me with a big enough sample. I wanted to include both first-year students and those on taught master's degrees, although unfortunately I was unable to get responses from students on master's programs in either China or Russia. I had originally planned to question some of the academics working in the department, but this approach proved too complicated, and so in the end I settled for only students. I did manage to get a good sample of first-year students in all 3 countries, and a small number of these are overseas students from 5 different countries who are currently studying here in this department.
Unit 6. Listening Skills. Exercise 6.
I encountered a few problems with some of the participants in my survey. All the interviews were either conducted face-to-face, or in the case of overseas respondents, by telephone or Skype. One Chinese student, whom I was particularly keen to interview, as she is one of only 3 overseas students doing a master's degree, proved extremely difficult to pin down. I made a number of appointments to meet her, but each time she didn't show up, and nobody seemed to know where I could find her. Eventually, I did manage to track her down and interview her. On one occasion, when I was in the middle of an online interview with a student at university in Russia, her boyfriend interrupted and cut me off. I think he thought I was trying to steal his girlfriend. I eventually managed to complete the interview on another day. I also had a few problems with participants refusing to answer some of the questions. For example, one of the first-year students here was not keen to tell me his exam results or his reasons for choosing engineering. I couldn't really work out why. That was very annoying, as it meant I couldn't include his answers in my final report.
Unit 6. Pronunciation. Exercise 1.
Do you think new developments in science often cause more problems than they solve?
No, not really. Actually, I would say that it's the other way round. The problems that science solves far outweigh the problems that it may bring.
Yes, I think so. Scientific developments often cause lots of problems, so sometimes they're not worth it.
Unit 6. Pronunciation. Exercise 2.
Absolutely. I mean, scientific development can be a positive thing, but you need to remember all of the negative consequences it can have.
Well, I suppose it can cause problems, but overall, surely scientific development is a positive thing.
Unit 6. Pronunciation. Exercise 4. A.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone should try to interfere with nature.
B.
I'm not sure, really. Most research is beneficial, but some can be unethical or even dangerous.
C.
I really don't think so. Scientists should be free to do what they like.
D.
It's a difficult one. If you start...
Unit 6. Exam Listening. Section 4. You will hear someone giving a lecture about the number pi. Listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 34.
Today, in the first in the series of talks about significant numbers, I'm going to talk about pi. As a mathematician and engineer, I find many numbers fascinating, but for me, pi is probably the most interesting.
Unit 6. Exam Listening. Now answer questions 35 to 40.
Over the years, numerous notable mathematicians and scientists have worked on defining the value of pi. The famous Greek scholar Archimedes, working in the 1st century BCE, took a theoretical approach to the study of pi. He devised a
Unit 7. Listening Skills. Exercise 6.
So, Dylan, I see from your personal statement that you've recently spent 6 months in South America. What made you decide to go there?
Well, I wanted to do some voluntary work and also improve my language skills. I already speak Spanish, my mother is Colombian, but I wanted to learn some Portuguese too.
So you spent time in Brazil?
I enrolled on a 3-month
Unit 7. Speaking Skills. Exercise 5.
I'd like to talk about a country I've always wanted to visit, which is Malaysia. It's a country in Southeast Asia, and my father lived there when he was young, and because he's told me such a lot about it, I've always wanted to go there. One of the things that attracts me is it's such a diverse nation, and I think there's something for everyone. There are busy cosmopolitan cities like Kuala Lumpur, there's a beautiful coast, there's rainforest, and I think there's plenty to do if you like adventures and sports. If I had the
Unit 7. Pronunciation. Exercise 1.
Spain, Spain. China, China. Brazil, Brazil. Italy, Italy. Vietnam, Vietnam.
Unit 7. Pronunciation. Exercise 3.
Spanish, Spanish. Chinese, Chinese. Brazilian, Brazilian. Italian, Italian. Vietnamese, Vietnamese. Moroccan, Moroccan. Portuguese, Portuguese. Croatian, Croatian. French, French.
Unit 7. Exam Listening. Section 3. You will hear 2 students discussing an assignment. Listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Hi, Shireen. How's it going?
Oh, hello, Carlos. I'm okay, I suppose. But it's just that I've got so much work to do, and this morning my tutor set another project, and I've no idea what to do for this one.
What's it about?
Well, we have to choose a topic, but it's got to be related to transport in some way. I honestly have no idea. I was just going to the library to get some ideas.
I don't know if this will be any help, but I saw a TV programme last week about traffic problems. It was really interesting. You may be able to still catch it online.
What was so interesting?
Well, a lot of it was looking at congestion in different countries. I didn't realise it was so bad. Did you know that there are around 800 million vehicles in the world? I think that's what they said. And this figure is growing all the time by about 50 million every year, apparently.
That's amazing. What's going to happen to them all?
Good question. I think they said the number would double in the next 2 decades. And of course all that traffic causes congestion, which costs the economy millions. I think they said that in the US, it costs the economy $100 billion every year.
Well, they do drive a lot of cars.
Yes, but it's happening all over the world. In Moscow, they lose around $12 billion a year, and of course nations like China and India are growing all the time. More cars mean more time wasted sitting in traffic jams.
So what's the solution?
Well, there's been a great deal of research into the whole congestion problem, and numerous solutions have been put forward. For instance, in some Chinese cities, they restrict road use by banning certain motorists from driving 1 day a week, depending on their car registration number. And you know about the congestion charge in London, where you have to pay to drive in certain parts of the city.
Yes, But these don't really solve anything, do they? And they probably just get people more frustrated. I know I'd get annoyed if I couldn't drive into the city on certain days or had to pay.
Well, one of the interesting things they talked about on the programme was why we get traffic jams in the first place.
Surely it's just weight of traffic.
Well, yes, but you know, sometimes you're driving along on the motorway and the traffic seems to be flowing freely when all of a sudden there's a traffic jam.
Yes, I always assumed it was due to an accident or a breakdown.
Not necessarily. Scientists have been looking at this for years and have used all sorts of computer simulators to recreate the situation on the road. Until recently, they thought the same as you, that congestion was caused by sheer weight of traffic. But they've now discovered that it's also due to driver action.
Do you mean bad driving?
No, it's more to do with unpredictable actions. Suppose a lorry suddenly changes lanes or something else happens that you're not expecting. Well, this can have an enormous effect, apparently.
How exactly?
Well, what they discovered was that under certain conditions, if just one driver overreacts to an event like that by braking too hard suddenly, this can then set off a reaction that will send shockwaves for miles back down the motorway.
How come?
Well, when the first car brakes, the car behind has to brake too, and so on, until the cars start to gather in clumps. That's how you get those stop-start congestion waves, which can eventually result in gridlock when all the traffic comes to a standstill.
And is it only motorways that are affected?
No. Any road junction where two or more lanes of traffic join together can cause problems. For example, as vehicles join a motorway, they tend to cut across lanes, which causes other cars to slow down or brake. This can affect vehicles miles behind on the motorway.
Unit 7. Exam Listening. Now answer questions 25 to 30.
So, is there anything that can be done about it?
Well, one measure that has been introduced is on the M25 motorway, which goes round London. They've set up a system whereby experts use real-time data collected from monitors on the motorway and analyse it in order to set speed limits.
So they're looking at live action on the motorway?
Exactly. Because they're working in real time and reacting immediately to the situation on the road, they hope to alleviate problems before they happen. So as the traffic gets heavier to the point where these waves of congestion are likely to form, the controllers monitoring the situation set speed limits at, say, 50 or 60 miles per hour to regulate the flow. Further back down the motorway at the back of the congestion zone, they set a lower speed limit, say 40 miles per hour, which should theoretically help control the traffic through the problem area.
But traffic jams still happen on the M25, don't they? I was in one a few months ago and we were at a standstill for ages.
Yes, of course. Sometimes there are simply too many cars on the roads. I think what the programme said was that the ideal number of cars on the road is no more than 2,000 per lane per hour, something like that. Theoretically, this should keep traffic moving smoothly at all times. But of course, the number of cars on the road far exceeds this. I think there are some sections of the M25 which have up to 200,000 vehicles a day.
So basically we need to reduce the number of cars on the roads. Well, that's not likely to happen, is it?
No, but researchers are still looking into car technology that might help. As most congestion waves are caused by drivers braking too hard suddenly, the idea is that you install radar on the outside of the car and an onboard computer. The driver would activate the system when signs alerted him or her to a possible congestion zone. Then the computer would take over and then take control of the braking and acceleration. Because it can react much faster than a human driver, in theory, it would control the car smoothly through the zone.
A bit like an autopilot system.
Yes.
Well, it does sound interesting. Do you think I could do something with...
Unit 8. Listening Skills. Exercise 1. 1.
The reference number is GI435AIH.
2.
The address is 14 Wainwright Road.
3.
The postcode is CV13 6JG.
4.
The flight number is EH 6358.
5.
The credit card number is 6595 4420 8569 5855.
6.
His surname is Lindsay. That's Lindsay.
Unit 8. Listening skills. Exercise 3.
Good morning. Abby Car Hire. How can I help you?
Oh, hello. I'm calling to see if it's possible to hire a car for 3 days next weekend.
What size of car were you hoping to rent?
Well, something big enough for a family of 4 with luggage.
That would be a medium family car. Let's see. Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. There's plenty of availability. First, I need to take a few details. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, it's Stephen with a V. Chamberlain. That's CHAMBERLAIN.
OK. And can I have your address, please?
Yes, it's 3 Hamilton House.
Oh, that's in Queen's Road, isn't it?
No, we don't live in Rowington. We're from Stretton. It must be a different Hamilton House. It's Market Street, Stretton.
And the postcode?
ST17 5BU.
And a contact telephone number. Your mobile is probably best.
Yes, let's see. It's 07934 854 552.
So, can you confirm the exact dates you wish to hire the car? From Friday, you said?
No, Saturday morning if possible. That's the 25th. What's the earliest we can pick it up?
Our office opens at 8 a.m.
Oh, not that early. I expect about 8:45 would suit us.
OK. 8:45 on the Saturday. And you'll drop it off on the Monday?
Yes, April the 27th. That's right. We have a train to catch at 6:30, so we'd like to drop it off in the afternoon at about 4:30.
Actually, we offer a complimentary shuttle service to the station and airport. If your train's at 6:30, may I suggest a 5 o'clock drop-off? That will give you plenty of time. The shuttle bus takes no more than 20 minutes, even in the rush hour.
That's great. Thanks. That'll save us a taxi fare.
So, the total charge will be, let's see, £87.50. That includes full insurance.
That seems reasonable.
I just need a few more details. Who is going to be the main driver?
I am.
You'll just need to bring your driving licence with you. You haven't got the number on you, have you?
Yes. Wait a minute. Yes, here it is. It's CHAMB 703 161 SWLY. Unit 8. Pronunciation. Exercise 2. A.
Some teenagers in my school are not very well behaved, but fortunately all my friends are.
B.
I've had a very happy childhood, so I sometimes forget that others haven't.
C.
Spending quality time together is important for most families, but unfortunately, it's not always possible to do so.
D.
Some people think that having a child is not a major responsibility, but obviously it is.
E.
My parents didn't have a good education.
Unit 8. Pronunciation. Exercise 5. A.
I'd like to leave home one day, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to yet.
B.
I'm lucky. I've had far better opportunities in life than my parents did.
C.
I thought young children could be difficult, but teenagers can too.
D.
Couples who don't have much money often wait until they do before having children.
E.
I loved being part of a big family when I was young, and I still do.
F.
Being shy has never been a disadvantage for me, but I know it can be for some.
G.
When I was young, I would have loved to have an older brother to look up to.
H.
Children today are sometimes more confident about using technology than...
Unit 8. Exam Listening. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between two people about an arts festival. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 3.
Look, Caroline, I picked up this leaflet in the library today. It's about a family arts festival they're holding in Eastfield in July. It looks really good.
Oh, that must be the thing Jane was telling me about. It takes place every other year, apparently, and it attracts thousands of people from the local area. She said it's really worth going to.
Yes, this must be it. Look, there's loads of different things on.
Let's see. Lots of different types of music, dance, comedy, theatre, cinema, whatever you fancy, really. Yes, you're right. There's a huge...
Unit 8. Exam Listening. Now answer questions 4 to 10.
OK, so I've got the booking form. Shall I put your name down?
Yes, that's probably easier.
OK, so, name. Alan Hardy. I can never remember your email address.
It's awh1163@mailgroup.com.
AWH163.
1163.
1163 at mailgroup.com. And which telephone number shall I put down?
My mobile is probably better. You can't remember that either, can you? It's 07894 734 5.
Unit 9. Listening Skills. Exercise 3.
As you can see, the coin is heptagonal in shape. That means it's seven-sided. The shape could be problematic, as most coins are round so that they can be easily used in vending machines. The 50-pence piece, however, has been designed with curved sides, and as you can see, the edges are rounded off so that it'll still function in vending machines. This also gives it its constant diameter. Like most silver-coloured coins nowadays, it's made from an alloy called cupronickel. That's 75% copper and 25% nickel. Over the years, the coin has changed in weight and dimension, and now weighs only 8 grams, but it started life a lot heavier at 13.5 grams. It has also shrunk slightly in size and is now 27.5 millimetres in diameter. That's 2.5 millimetres less than it used to be. The obverse of the coin, or face, shows a portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and there have been 3 different portraits used over the years. The current one first appeared in 1998 and is a much more realistic version than the previous 2. The reverse was originally intended to be the royal arms, but was replaced at the last minute by the distinctive design of the seated figure of Britannia, the Roman name for Britain, which is today used as a female personification of the island.